Works and utilities have fanned out across the county to clear down trees and power lines and to get people out of flooded homes and start those critical assessments and critical repairs on many of our water systems, electric systems. If you've been out on the roads, you know that conditions are still very hazardous in a lot of areas. And I cannot stress enough, if you come to an intersection with lights that are out, you must treat that as a four-way stop. Please do not run through that. We actually had a staff member who got hit by somebody last night who did not abide by that. So please, just so important that you keep safe out there. We still have more than 150 traffic signals out. So while most of the floodwaters have receded in most of the areas of our county, some places still remain with flooding and are at risk for potentially maybe a little bit more flooding. The weather conditions are a lot nicer, cooler temperatures. We're not expecting any rain, but there could be, with the waters and the flooding everywhere across the state, there could be additional waters that are coming in. The Tarpon Woods area community is still an area of concern for us with neighborhood flooding. Brooker Creek is expected to continue to rise over the next few days. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that and send messages out to that community. In terms of our shelters, so we still have about 1,500 people in shelters. We have over 170 people that have actually been in shelters with us since Hurricane Helene. So as you can imagine, they've been away from their homes. We are looking to get more step-down locations so we can, get folks out of Pinellas County schools. But for now, we're still there. We still have space. We are working to get as many of our folks out as we can. The power outages are still causing a lot of concerns, especially for our very vulnerable special needs populations. We cannot move them home. We're still at about 83% power outages throughout the county. So we are consolidating as many of our shelters as possible, as people are able to get back and check on the conditions of their homes. And I do want to say during our sheltering operations, we had so many different pets in there, but we had a beautiful baby girl that was born in one of our shelters. Our shelter staff helped with the delivery. So just beautiful to see that new life, in the middle of all of this destruction. So in terms of damage reporting and getting teams out there, we were able to get some teams out yesterday, but we'll get a lot more teams out there today as the streets have been cleared of the power lines and the trees, and we've stopped most of our major rescue operations. So we do know that we've already looked at over 1,900 properties through different areas of the county, and we have more than 500 that have been destroyed or reported as major damages. So we will continue to gather that information, and we'll be sending that up to the state and also making a case to FEMA to get disaster declarations and additional programs turned on for Hurricane Milton. Please, if you do have damages at your home, you can report that through disaster.pinellas.gov. And if you have the Ready Pinellas app, there's also a damage assessment information where you can report that to us as well. Many of our hospitals and healthcare centers experience power and water outages. As you heard me speak about yesterday, we had 5 critical hospitals down in the St. Pete area that we were working to maintain. And I'm happy to report with the incredible work of so many people, starting even with St. Pete, the water folks, they were able to identify 4 major leaks. They were able to help repair those. There still are pressure issues down there in the St. Pete area. There's still a boil of water, but we were able to stabilize the hospitals and keep them in place. And in fact, some of those hospitals have actually been able to open up to start receiving patients again. I do want to just advise people that not all of our healthcare facilities are back up and running yet. So before you head out to them, just know that Largo Med is closed. Bay Pines had evacuated and they're working on coming back. Palms of Pasadena also had evacuated. They're not back up and running yet. And then we have 2 freestanding ERs that are not back up yet. The one for Orlando Health in Pinellas Park and Largo West. They're both not back up yet. So please, if you get injured because you're out there trying to trim trees or using a chainsaw or anything, before you try to go to one of these locations, try to just check and see if they're open. And certainly if you have to call 911, they'll make sure that they get you to an open facility that's running. You can call our County Information Center at 727-464-4333 to get information. We're operating from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. now, and you can also go to disaster.pinellas.gov. As we get more supportive services turned back on, we'll be putting that information on there. And a lot of what we're having to do now is we're picking up to where we were unbelievably only 6 days ago with putting a lot of recovery efforts out into the community. So the Florida National Guard is going to be going out to different areas of our community, helping to pass out water, meals ready to eat, and also some cleanup kits. We will be looking to turn on those FEMA sites with the disaster survivor assessment teams. So we're going to start to get more and more things turned back on again. I feel like we never even had the chance. I think we were just at the point of getting ready to turn on the Disaster Recovery Center after Debbie. Then Helene happened. We were just getting ready to turn on the one for Helene. Then Milton happened. So as we get things turned on, we will make that available to you. And if you know of any at-risk communities, 55 plus people with special needs that may not be able to communicate or reach out to us, please look out for your neighbors. Please let us know if you see people or pockets, so that way we can get assistance to them. We are working with many of the mobile feeding partners that we had in here after Helene. They will be coming back into the area. So we will be standing up cooling centers, comfort stations. We'll be setting up a lot more things, and unfortunately in many more areas of our community that were impacted by Milton. So please feel free to reach out to us. Again, the County Information Center, 727-464-4333.
Thanks, Kathy. I'd like to provide an update on debris collection. I know that's a question that we have been receiving from some of our residents. So the county, the cities, and community partners are reactivating their storm debris efforts. We know it's a monumental task. We know each city has its own storm debris collection programs, and we know it's going to take time, but know that will be a major focus moving forward as we transition from the life safety operations immediately following Hurricane Milton, and we start getting back to some of the recovery and restoration work. For unincorporated county, our crews are focusing right now on continuing to clear the roads and remove the debris that's blocking access to our emergency responders and first responders. So we know that that's going to take several days. We do appreciate the understanding, but be aware that we are prioritizing our storm debris efforts moving forward with our city and community partners. For unincorporated residents, the county is reopening its 2 drop-off sites for residential storm debris today. They will be open moving forward from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they are as follows. 13600 ICOD Boulevard in Clearwater, and at the corner of Keystone Road and East Lake Road in Eastlake. And as I said, they will operate from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please, if you live in a city, check with our city partners. They are getting information up on their websites, as are we, so you can follow up on what they're doing for your respective city. Commercial operators still have their drop-off sites that they can go to, and they have that information as well. As it relates to the water service, last night we announced from Pinellas County Utilities a boil water notice for barrier islands from Johns Pass south to Tierra Verde. We know that many city water customers in St. Pete, Gulfport, South Pasadena, and Lealman are also under a boil water notice. As we receive more information, obviously we will be sharing that. In terms of the wastewater, Pinellas County Utilities reports that we still have 140 pump stations without power, but the service is still functional to the customers. At this time, we will stop and turn it over to media for any questions they might have. Those of you joining us via Zoom, please raise your hand if you have a question. We will unmute you and you can ask your question at that time.
There are no questions on Zoom at this time.
All right. Thank you very much.